Thank you for bringing the energy. I always love that intro. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me and you can see me. Okay, let me see. I got multiple screens here. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me and see me. Okay, we good. We good. Welcome in y'all to the Goal Crushers Workshop. Every single year, we run an event for business owners to help them set and crush their business and personal goals. And so you're here because you want 2026 to be the best. You're here because 2025 was good, but you want 2026 to be great. And so today we are running a full masterclass workshop style today where you all are going to actually walk away having your goals set and you're going to have a game plan to go into 2026 with new clarity, new confidence, and new direction. Is that okay with you guys? Just put a yes in the chat. That's okay with you all if we give you all some plays to run before you go into 2026. Now, listen, we got a guest speaker in the room. I'm excited as well. So you'll want to hang tight for the next 10 or 15 minutes as he will be in the room giving some game that I'll be coming up after and giving you all some more frameworks to follow. But listen, this is what I want to say. Come today with an open mind and open heart because you're here. It's at the very last day of 2025. You're here. You're ready for tomorrow, which is a fresh start for many of you all. But I want you to come today with open mind and open heart because Josh, who's here in the room with me, myself, we're going to give you some things to do. And some of the things may feel counter culture. Some of them may feel like, against what you've been told and what you've been taught. And so today, just put a two in the chat. Let me see if you're all listening. Put a two in the chat if you agree just to come today with all biases aside, all perspectives aside. You're just coming today with an open mind and open heart. I see Kira says, I'm here ready. Ernest says, I'm ready. Let's go. Teresa says, that's me. Okay, okay. I love it. I love it. Let's go. So listen, before we get started, I just want to formally introduce myself. My name is Michael Tucker, and over the past few years, I've just fallen in love with setting big dreams and setting big goals and just chasing them. All right. And that's just something I'm very, very passionate about ever since high school. I've always thought that life was meant for more. Anybody truly believe in here? Just put I do in the chat if you agree that life was meant for more. We should dream big. We should dream big. And so I've been on this quest and this journey to figure out how can we accomplish the most we can in life because I truly believe we only have one life to live and we got to max out what we're living here. You guys may know Ed Milet. He talks about maxing out. And so I've been on this journey to discover, hey, how can I max out my life? How can we help other people max out their life? And so today, if you're here, I just want to say you're at the right place at the right time because 2026 can be the year of impact, of purpose, of mission, of life change. But it starts with you being here and taking all out massive action. Just put action in the chat real quick for me if you're going to be an action taker. Now, listen, what we're going to show you all today in this next 2 hours, we're going to spend 2 hours together. Is that okay with you all? An hour and a half, 2 hours. Roderick, is that cool with you? Sven, is that cool with you? Mr. Olson, Deborah, we good to spend some time together? We're going to spend a lot of time together today. And so we're going to be going over number one. Josh is going to come up in just a second, one of my good friends, and he's going to be showing you all how to go about maybe setting goals with a purpose, how to make sure that your business doesn't overrule your life, and how you can still win in business and still win in your personal life. I'm going to come up right after that. I'm going to give a framework that you can use to really go and like make sure that the plan that you set in place in 2026, you actually execute it. Because I'm here to tell you all, so many people set New Year's resolutions. Let's just be honest. Let's take a poll. Put a yes in the chat if you've taken a New Year resolution or you've made a New Year's resolution in the past. Just put a yes in the chat if that's you. Let me know in the chat if that's you. Okay, a lot of people. The issue is a lot of people go into the new year with these resolutions, but they don't actually have a system to follow. They don't actually have something they can follow. So what we're going to be doing is today is we're going to be giving you a system. We're going to be reframing your mind around how to set goals, not just New Year resolution, but how to actually set yourself up for success. And so listen, we're gonna go through how to make a plan, how to make a commitment. We're going to show you how to go create accountability for yourself. And we're actually going to give you an AI tool to help you do this a little faster. Is that okay with you guys if we incorporate some AI into the mix? Just let me know if that's okay. I see Trey. Trey, you cool with that? All right. Divine says we're cool. All right. Now listen, a few things before we get started. Number one, if you can have your camera on, if you're here in Zoom watching, if you can have your camera on, it's just going to make the experience a whole lot better. Let me just say that. I see a couple people with their camera on. Brendan, good to see you. We got Teresa, Thomas, good to see you. So go ahead and turn those cameras on. Josh and myself, we're very interactive teachers. So you're going to learn that we like to pull people up on stage. We like to talk to you. We like to see you. So I know some of you may be at work, but if you can turn on your camera, that's just going to make the experience a whole lot more in depth for you. Okay. Number two, I would recommend you grab a pen and paper ASAP. Okay. Grab a pen and paper ASAP. Comment the word done in the chat if you actually have something you could take notes with. Let me just see who came prepared and came intentional today. Just put done in the chat. You listen, because we've taken lots of notes today. Lots and lots of notes. You want to make sure you're prepared, all right? Now, third, I know this is going to be a long class, and some of you may have to bounce in and out because I know some of you all, you're right now, you're at work, maybe you're with your kids, maybe you're with your family. You may have to hop in and out. I would recommend you try to stay throughout the whole thing because everything fits in and pieces together. But if you can't, I do want to let you all know that replays are available. Now, I'm not selling you anything at the very end of this event. Josh is not selling you anything at the end of the event. This is truly a give back initiative to really just make sure that you win in 2026. But we are, for $29, you can get the replays. So the team is going to drop that link in the chat if you want to go ahead and upgrade to VIP. It's $29. You get lifetime access to this whole entire replay. You also get, let me just throw this in there. I'm not going to be selling this the whole time because that's not the point of this class. I just want to let you know you're going to get lifetime access to this replay. You're going to get access to a workbook, VIP. Check your email we sent you 15 minutes ago. It has your workbook in it. So you get, okay, I see it. Brandon says I already invested. Let's go. You're going to get a workbook. So number one, replays. You get the workbook. Also, we're going to give you access to 2 bonus trainings. One training on how to hire a virtual assistant in 2026, and another training on how to podcast your way to millions. All right. So just 2 bonus courses I'm just throwing in to say thank you for being here. Thank you for going VIP and upgrading for $29. So you can jump in and get that. Now, the replays will be available in 2 to 3 days after this event. Okay. Just put okay if you guys understand that. 2 to 3 days after this event, you will receive the replays. And also, just want to let you all know that I got something very cool that I want to announce at the very end for anybody who jumps in and gets the VIP. I got a special software that I just built to help you crush your goals faster in 2026. So VIP is going to get lifetime access to that, grandfathered into that new software. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the very end. Okay. So with that being said, you all, though, I want to go ahead and bring up our first speaker today. So listen, I'm going to be sharing in just a little bit how to actually go create a plan, work the plan, create accountability, and build using our whole system that's proven on how to go set your goals. But I truly feel like it's really important that you set goals that are purpose-driven goals. Would you guys agree that I think that everybody needs to set purpose-driven goals? And some people, they just come in, Josh, they just come in. I know it, I see it. They just set random goals based upon what they see the public doing, what their friends are doing, their family doing, but they never sit down and say, hey, how does this goal fit into my life for the long term? And so today, what we're doing is I have a great friend, Josh Hull. He's consulted with Dean Graziosi. He's worked with on Tony Robbins' team. Listen, this dude is the legend, and he's going to show you all how you all can go ahead and set purpose-driven goals and how you can go and create not just a plan for 2026, but how you can look at the macro and look at the wider span of your life and say, hey, how does the goals that we set today in 2026 or December 31st, 2025 fit into the goal 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can win in business and life. Is that okay? Is anybody in here struggle with, maybe you're like, man, I feel like I'm too much in my business and my life is kind of taking some hits in some areas. Anybody feel like you've experienced that in your business? Well, listen, he's going to show you all how you can win in both. And I'm excited. So you all, I want to welcome to the stage a friend, somebody I truly believe is going to lead you to a lot of clarity, a lot of confidence. We're going to start today off with my friend Josh Hull on the stage today with you all. Everybody just welcome in Josh. Put some fire emojis in the chat real quick. Let him know how excited you are, Josh. I just unmuted you and I made you co-host. You are good to go. I'll let you kick off the day, brother.
Awesome, Mike. I really appreciate being here, man. I got to tell you guys, Mike and I go back to, what was it, like 2023. I was asked to speak at a Christian entrepreneur conference, and we met there, and we've just developed a friendship over the years. It's been fantastic. And this is the first time I've had an opportunity to come into one of his events and speak. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, grateful for him asking. Really excited to be here with you guys. I am just thrilled. This is my jam. My company is called The Purpose Driven Co. for a reason. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background on that in a second. But first of all, I want to make a statement, and I want to see how many of you guys agree with this. My statement is this, and you can write this down. Your life is a precious, priceless gift. And with that gift, you have one job. Say yes to being used for good. Your life is a precious, priceless gift. And with that gift, you have one job, saying yes to being used for good. Who agrees with that? Drop it in the chat. Who agrees with that? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes. Let me know. All right. I'm seeing a lot in there. All right. Fire, fire. Yeah, there we go. Yes, yes. All right. Yes. All right, guys. That is going to be really, Mike's going to come up in a little bit and he's going to do an amazing job. But between now and then, between him bringing it home, you guys have me. And that is the whole foundation of what I'm about to tell you guys. That is the whole foundation of what we're going to talk about here in a minute. And I want you guys to know that the foundation is firm and the best is yet to come. Write that down. The foundation is firm and the best is yet to come. So, for those of you who haven't ever heard of me, I am one. Somebody once told me, they said, "You are the most famous coach that we've never heard of." I'll take it. I am the coach's coach. I work with coaches, but I work with entrepreneurs, leaders. You are exactly the type of people I want to work with. You are the people who are changing the world. You're the people who are going to change the world for the better. Okay. So this is me in a nutshell. I was a law enforcement officer. I was a cop. Back in 2008, I graduated the academy. A week later, I married my beautiful wife, Mindy. I have 5 amazing daughters now. My English bulldog is even a female. I'm about to grow a uterus in about 5 minutes. So I am surrounded by women, but it is a beautiful experience and it's a wonderful experience. However, in 2008, right after graduating, I was going through some field training. I took down a suspect, and during that time, I got kneed in the groin, which led to discovering that I had testicular cancer. Having testicular cancer, that is the number one killer men between 25 and 35. It's the number one silent killer because most of the time you don't know you have it until it's too late. And when I found out, we went in, we had a surgery, and the doctor says, "Listen, I have trouble even calling it stage 1 because it was so new." It literally was a miracle. Okay. It was a miracle. My life is a precious, priceless gift at this point. And I have one job now, and that is to say yes to being used for good. So we go forward a few years down the road. I've promoted, life's going well. We've had our first daughter, Ashby, and having some health issues. I know something's not right. I go to the doctor. Now, on medication when it says, "Hey, here's a side effect, but really it's a 1 in a million chance this is going to happen." Well, I was lucky Mr. 1 million. Now, what happened was I had low testosterone. They gave me testosterone replacement therapy. At the age of 30, I had a heart attack and I lost 40% of my kidney function. This is on top of the type 1 diabetes that I've had since I was 11 years old. At this point, all of my doctors said, "You're never going to work again." My identity was stripped from me. You know how people, when they say, "Hey, what do you do?" Instead of saying, I work as in law enforcement or I work as a cop, they say, "I am a cop," right? That's an identity. My identity was stripped from me. And it was hard. It was tough. We lost 55% of our income overnight. My wife was working for Child and Family Services. She was seeing atrocious things happen to women and children and leaders. Brothers, sisters, we lost 4 babies during that time. It was difficult. And we applied for disability. It took several years to get that to come through. In the meantime, I felt like there was nothing. In fact, I woke up almost every day saying, there is nothing I can do to help my family. Once I was approved for disability, it actually got worse because as I sat there in front of the judge and all of these people were talking about me and my ability to work, the final person that they asked, can Mr. Hall do anything, said, no, there is nothing, literally said, there is nothing in the nothing in the United States database of employment that Mr. Hall is qualified to do. Essentially, Mr. Hall is useless and purposeless. But my life is a precious, priceless gift. And with that gift, it is my job to say yes to being used for good. So things got worse in my mind. And every day, there is nothing I can do. There is nothing I can do. And then finally, one day, one word changed. One word. What word do you think that is? In that statement, there is nothing I can do. What do you think one word in that statement changed? Put it in the chat. What word changed? I want to see. Yeah, that word, nothing. Sven, you got it. Nothing to something. I woke up one day and I don't know why. I think God reached out and said, I've got more for you. And I changed that word from there is nothing to waking up with a determination. And I said, there is something I can do to make money and relieve the burden of my beautiful wife who was withering away before me under the pressure she was under. So the next day, things changed. I saw something. I was able to help a friend of mine build their business, which gave me the confidence and changed my mindset and helped me to start building my own business, which then led to another business after selling that one, which then led to where I'm at today in coaching, which led to a year into my coaching experience, coaching for Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins, which then led to consulting with them to help them build the Mastermind Business Academy and being the person who initiated that and helped them build that out, which now has led me to working with alongside Russell Brunson as well as Donald Miller and helping him build his business from the inside out, becoming really good friends. I've moved from Utah to Nashville. I hang out with Donald Miller. I live down the road. We are actually really good friends. I am good friends with Dean. He texts me on a regular basis to congratulate me when he sees my wins. I have now also achieved my proudest achievements is that after losing 4 babies, God blessed us with 4 more. 2016, 17, 18, and 19, we had 4 more girls a year apart. And so we have a full house. We have a 15-year-old, a 9 and 8, a 7, and a 6-year-old. So God is good. Your life is a precious, priceless gift. And with that gift, you have one job, to say yes to being used for good. I said yes to being used for good. Now, the first thing that changed in all of this, Mike's going to come up and he's going to teach you how to set goals. He has an amazing system. But the first thing that changed before I ever set a goal, before I ever said anything could even become a reality in my life, I had to change my mindset. And a lot of you, you've heard the phrase, change your story, change your life, change your story, change your life. Well, I did change that, but I also found a purpose. That's the mindset I'm talking about. When I talk about my purpose-driven productivity, it starts with the mindset of who am I? Who do I want to become? Who am I not today that I want to grow into? What is God's calling for me? Now, you're going to find out that a foundational principle of everything I do and everything that I teach is that no worldly success can compensate for failure in the home. I can make $1 million a minute and it wouldn't be worth it if I let down those 7 women. And yes, I said 7 because I'm including my English bulldog out there, just outside my studio. If I let them down, it doesn't matter how much I make. Because the best good I could be used for is to help them, to serve them, to love them. Next, I can serve and love on leaders like yourself, and I can serve and love those around me in my community. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Yes, absolutely, Shante. I am blessed. I am blessed. Look at God, Wanda. Absolutely. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Who is ready to live a more purposeful, a more purpose-driven life and to make sure your goals are helping you to become? Drop it in the me. Give a me. Ready. Hand raise. Awesome. Let's do it. All right. By the way, guys, Grammaticists hate that phrase when I say that every choice you make and every goal you set helps you become, because they're like, that's not a complete sentence. And they're absolutely right. But that's the point. It helps you to become. Listen, if you say, I want to become the next Michael, I want to become the next Josh, I want to become the next Tony Robbins, I want to become the next Sam Walton, I want to do that. But then you spend 10 hours a day playing video games. Well, those choices aren't leading you to becoming that person, but they are leading you to become something or someone. You might become a really great video game player, but you're not becoming who you say. So that being said, let me share my screen here, get things going. All right, who can see my screen there? Give me a thumbs up. You guys see that? Thumbs up, you're good? Let's see. Sorry, give me a thumbs up again. All I saw were blank screens. If you guys could turn your cameras on at all possible. All right, Mary, I see you, Mary. There you go. So, how purpose turns goals into a path for who you're becoming. By the way, guys, if you're looking for me on social media, I'm going to give you a tool in a minute, and at the end of that tool, you can connect with me through social media. But I go by J. Allen Hull, because nobody wants advice from a guy named Josh A. Hull. I promise you. So I go by J. Allen Hull on social media. My parents registered me as Josh A. Hull, for 12 years of my school career, and I said, never again will I be registered as that. So most people don't fail at goals because they lack discipline. They fail because their goals aren't connected to who they want to become. All right, guys, that's really the reason. They don't have goals that actually move them towards becoming something. We set goals because they sound good. They look responsible. Other entrepreneurs have them. You know, Gary Vee said that I should set this as a goal. Tony said I should set this as a goal, right? But goals without purpose, personal purpose, lead to burnout, they lead to drifting, or success that feels empty. By the way, guys, write this down. No one drifts into success. You have to drive there. No one drifts into success. You have to drive there, okay? Goals are not just targets to hits. They're training grounds for who we're becoming. They're training grounds for our future identity is what goals are. Purpose fuels motivation. Purpose fuels productivity. Purpose fuels the right goals. The right goals should flow from your purpose. Your productivity should flow from your purpose. When there's a why behind the goal, the effort makes sense. It fuels it. It flows from it. Okay? It informs it. Every meaningful goal should answer, who am I becoming if I live this way? Who am I becoming who am I becoming as a leader? Who am I becoming as an entrepreneur? Who am I becoming as a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a son, a daughter, if I live this way? Entrepreneurs don't just want better results. They want to become more focused, better leaders, better spouses and parents, better people in their community. And goals should shape who you're becoming, not just what you're achieving. They shouldn't just be a checklist. They should shape who you're becoming. This is, again, one of the number one reasons why people fail at goals, because they set misaligned goals. Now, I'm going to give you an extreme example, but essentially what they do is they say, I want to be the best stay-at-home mom in the world, but then I also want to become the most world-renowned heart surgeon on the planet. Yeah, sorry. You can be amazing at both, but they're separate identities. They're separate unbecomings, right? So, without purpose, we borrow goals from other people. We chase what sounds impressive. We confuse motion with meaning. We set what I call good for you. Good for you is all one word. Good for you. Okay, I think that's GOODFERYOU. Good for you. Or YA at the end. Yeah, good for you. Like the doctor says, Josh, it'd be good for you if you lost 50 pounds. All right, I'll set that as a goal. You know, it'd be good for you if you spent more time at home. Well, I don't know how I'm going to do that and be an entrepreneur at the same time, but okay, I'll set it as a goal. It'd be good for you if you were making 6 figures by the end of the year. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to do that and be a good parent at home at the same time, but I'll set it as a goal. And so we set what people tell us, and we confuse motion with meaning. We confuse busy work with productivity. Okay? Before you set goals, you need direction. A simple life map simplifies that direction. Guys, I'm going to give you a tool. Again, like Michael said, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm literally going to give you the tool to create your life map. so that you guys can work on this over the next couple of days. We've got some days off from work. It's a nice time to sit down and really think about who you want to become. Okay. Now, a purposeful life is built across 5 key domains. There's other domains, but these are the key ones: your spiritual, your familial, your social, your physical, and your financial. Okay. Purpose brings these into alignment. Now, most people start with the financial goal. They build success first, and then they try to fix life later. In fact, do you guys know? Drop it in the chat. I want to see the chat here. What do you think are the two, or what do you think are the biggest New Year's resolutions or goals, the biggest things that people set? Drop it in the chat. Let's see. Weight loss. Yep. Lose weight, weight loss, and earning more money. Lose weight, make more money. Yep, that's it. That's it, guys. Make more money and lose weight. You're absolutely right. 100%. People want to be sexy, look sexy, and they want to have money to show it off. That's what you want. That's what people want. The problem with that is this creates imbalance, it creates disconnection, and it creates a life that looks good but feels off. All right, leaders, we don't want a life that looks good but feels off. We want to live in integrity. We want to live with character. We want to be the people that God meant us to be. Okay? So when we start with the spiritual instead of the financial, you notice on those 5 domains, physical and financial, the 2 that most people focus on were the 2 bottom. When we start with spiritual, direction becomes service-oriented, decisions become less selfish, and success gains meaning. Everything else flows from there. Everything else flows from there. Okay? We start there with the relationship we want to have with God. That when we say, by the time I die, if somebody were to eulogize me, what would they say about me in my spiritual domain, in my life? The relationship I had with God, with my higher power. Okay? What do I want them to say? A purpose-driven life leaves a legacy that we're proud of. It aligns with our values. It honors both our calling and our Creator. Goals become tools for becoming, not trophies or a checklist to check off. Okay? Tools for becoming. That's the way you should view goals. It's a tool for becoming. It's not the end of the road. It is a milestone on your road to success. We're not aiming for work-life balance. Balance feels adversarial, one-sided, right? It feels one side wins, the other loses. When I think of balance, I think of the scales of justice. You guys see those scales where they hang from the chains, and I think of one side, you know, you got to balance one against the other. The very word against is adversarial, okay? So we're aiming for work-life harmony. What does that do? What we do outside the business, how this looks is what we do outside the business restores our energy, it sharpens our focus, it strengthens our relationships, which allows us to bring our best into the business. So here's the cycle: energy at home, better effort at work, more resources and freedom, more presence at home, which restores us and gives us more energy, which gives us better effort at work, which, right? You see the cycle. It's cyclical. It's a circle. It's not adversarial. It's a serve each other, okay? Now, the life map brings harmony through a purpose statement, a 10-year vision, a 5-year vision, a 1-year vision. This isn't about predicting the future. It's about aligning today, okay? And by the way, the reason why I go 10, 5, and 1, and you're going to want to work on your 10, then your 5, then your 1, is because Tony Robbins says most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10. So if we start with 10 and we underestimate, then we move back to 5, then we move back to 1, and we're reverse engineering that. 5 should be about halfway to what we say 10 is. We can see that when we get to the year, oh, wow, that's really undershooting what I could do in a year. So then you push it out a little bit, you push the 5 out a little bit, you push the 10 out a little bit. Okay, your goals should be a little risky. Okay, they should make you stretch. All right, guys. So your 1-year vision, then after you have that, then you take what Michael's teaching you today, you create the goals that help you to make that 1-year vision a reality. Okay? You now clearly know what goals you should be setting, and you stop wasting your time on other goals that are taking you out of the game of life that you want to play. Okay? So, Your purpose statement answers, why am I here? Who am I called to become? What should my life stand for? This is, Stephen Covey called it the eulogy exercise. This is, at the end of my life, I'm going to live to 93. Pick an age. I'm going to live to 93. I'm going to live to 94. I personally put down I'm going to live to 1005. I just figure medical advances will keep me going, so whatever. But no, I don't. I did not. I've actually put down 93. That's the age. I don't know. Will I live longer? Maybe. Will I not? I don't know. But the point is it gives an end date to the brain, which gives a closed loop. Says, I don't got all the time in the world. If you don't put an age, your brain thinks I got all the time in eternity, right? And you write from a past tense who you want to become. You know, Josh was, Josh did, Josh became, as though somebody were standing up there at the pulpit eulogizing you. This purpose gives goals meaning. I want to make sure I'm honoring my time here. So, Mike, if you need to drop a chat to me and let me know. When you read your purpose daily, your brain seeks alignment, incongruence creates tension, cognitive dissonance creates guides choice. My VA put in that word incongruence because she knows I struggle with it, and I'm gonna have to talk to her about that. The point is here, guys. Read your purpose statement, read your life map daily. So again, this doesn't need to be a huge, long, it shouldn't be 10 page. The problem that I've found with most life maps is that it's like a 23-page document. This should be a, 4 pages, one quick page for a small pages, by the way, that fit in a journal or fit in your planner. 1 page for your life, for your purpose, 1 page for your 10, your 5, and your 1 year, 1 page for each of those. But what happens is when you read it daily, by the way, I say daily, but I like to say more often than not because we have to practice grace. We're never perfect. Life happens. How do you know you've done things more often than not? Real simple. God gave us a simple way to know that. He gave us 7 days in a week. If we read this 4 days out of the week, we've done it more often than not. If we read it 3 days out of the week, we've read it less often than not. So that's all. And if you read it less often than not that week, extend yourself grace, forgive yourself, love yourself. Your life is a precious, priceless gift. And your job with that gift is just to say yes to being used for good. So forgive yourself and then try to do better the next week. But as we read it, it creates cognitive dissonance, positive cognitive dissonance. What that means is your brain reads it, Josh became all of these things. And then your brain says, that's not who we are. That is not who we are at all. And it says, dude, I am going to help you today. Bro, you are not that person. So today, subconsciously, I'm going to give you a little boost and I'm going to help you make choices throughout the day that help you to become that person. Okay? This is just brain science. People call it the law of attraction. This is literally how it works. Your brain reads something, says, I'm not that. I got to make choices to become that. Okay? So when we read this daily, it works. Let me give you an example of how this works, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the share for a second, family, because I want to talk to you face to face. So the first time I wrote this, one of the things that I wrote, and it's still true today. By the way, I evaluate these every quarter to see if I'm still on track, to see if there's anything I need to tweak or amend. I'm not rewriting the whole thing. I'm just evaluating it. But the first time I wrote this, one of the things I wrote was, Josh always came from a place of love, even when disciplining his children. He never yelled. He never made them fearful of him. They always knew that even in their disobedience, that they were loved. I want my girls to feel that. I want my family to feel that. Well, you got to remember, I came from the law enforcement world. When I worked as a cop, notice my language there, not when I worked as a cop, I developed what I call my big boy voice. That is, please do this. Do this. You're not listening to me. Do this now, right? And that's not even as loud as what it was. That was all right, we're done screwing around. Well, it led to a habit of yelling. And do children ever listen on the first, guys, put it down. Anybody with kids, do children ever listen on the first, the second, or even the third time you ask them to do something? Right? Especially little kids, right? We're talking at the time 3, 4, 5, right? No, absolutely not. Well, I found myself in a habit of yelling and screaming. And I didn't like that. And that's why I wrote this of who I want to become. Here's the thing. A few months down the road, here's the interesting thing. A few months down the road, my I walked out of my office and I saw my daughter coloring on the wall. Now, this is not a new thing. I mean, she clearly knows the rule is do not color on the wall. All right. Uh, the very first inclination was I sucked in air. I was going to huff and puff and I was going to blow her sweet little house down. And guys, this is how fast the brain works. It's going to take me a couple of minutes to explain it to you, but literally this all happened in fractions of a nanosecond. Okay. My brain, as I'm getting ready to unleash on her, says, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You said you want to be somebody who doesn't yell and scream. You want them to love you, not fear you. You want them to know that even in disappointment, even in disobedience, that they are always loved. I want my girls to know that I love them and there's nothing they can do to change that. That's what I want them to know. That there's nothing they can do. I can't love them more. I can't love them less. I love them wholly. Well, yelling doesn't explain that. So my brain said that. Wait a minute. You said you want to do that. So then my brain says, would that person yell at this 3-year-old right now? Guys, telling you right now, it makes me emotional. By the way, a good dog food commercial can get me crying. So that shows you the extent of my masculinity. But it brought me to tears in that moment. And I stopped. And I picked her up and I hugged her. And I said, Avi Lee was the daughter. I said, Avi, are we supposed to color on walls? And she looked down. She knew she'd done wrong. And then we had a good conversation. And at the end of it, she felt loved. She felt safe. She felt I did something wrong, but that doesn't change what my dad feels about me. That's what I want. I need to change the behavior, but it doesn't change how my dad feels. By the way, isn't that how God treats us? He loves us. We can't make him love us more. We can't make him love us less. We can only do things by our own choices that maybe bring us closer to him, or by our own choices have us walk away from him. But that's the kind of dad I want to be, is that you're never going to change how I feel about you. And I don't want you to feel like it does because you were disobedient. That's what the power of purpose statement. Now, am I perfect? Have I never yelled since then? No. Why? Because I'm human. So I extend grace. I go and I apologize to the child. I show forth love afterwards, and I work harder on changing. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot less. It's a lot less. Over the last few years, it's become a lot less. And my children understand that their dad loves them and there's nothing they can do about it. All right. Sorry, I got to regain some composure here. Got me a little teary. So the 10-year 10-year vision is, who am I growing to? This is basically, if I want this to be true at the end of my life, by the way, use AI to help you write these. If I want this to be true about me at the end of my life, then where do I have to be in 10 years? What 5-year? What season am I intentionally building? Okay. 1 year. What is this year really about? Okay. Simple direction creates focused goals. Sigmund Freud said man has a will to pleasure. Viktor Frankl, who was a contemporary of his, a student first and then a contemporary, who developed logotherapy, by the way. If you've never read Man's Search for Meaning, please pick it up, read it. Every entrepreneur should. Every leader should. Viktor Frankl said that no, people do not have a will to pleasure. People have a will to purpose or meaning. And when they lack purpose or meaning, they default to pleasure. And we all know this person, right? They've got the boat, still not happy. They got the big house, still not happy. They got the car, still not happy. They got the nice clothes, still not happy, right? Yes, man's search for meaning. Absolutely. So we know that person that lives with a big hole in their heart and they're trying to fill it with things. Purpose sustains discipline, and purpose fills that hole permanently. Every goal should answer 2 questions. How does this help me grow the business, and how does this help me win at home? Okay, it should answer those 2 questions. It doesn't have to be a goal about home or even a goal about business if it's one or the other. But if it's a goal about how I want to be at home, then how does this help me in my business? We got to see the connection. We got to make the connection for it to become harmony. Same thing. If I set this goal in my business, if I make, it's about making more money, or it's about being on more stages, or it's about serving. By the way, when you get stuck financially, I always make service goals. I throw out how much money I'm going to make that year if I feel like I'm stuck, and I say, all right, how many people am I going to serve this year? Always leads to more money. How does this help me grow the business, right? No worldly success can compensate for failure in the home. This is my core philosophy. This is how I live. By the way, I forgot to mention, a few years into applying for disability, I was also diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's disease. And so it makes things movement difficult for me. One of the biggest things right now is I have masking in my face, which means that I think I'm smiling like the Joker and I'm looking very, very serious. In fact, for the first couple of years after being diagnosed, the most common thing my wife asked me in the house was, "Are you mad?" But I work very hard to try to smile and look like a happy person, or show the happiness from the inside to the outside. So for me, this is a very important thing. No worldly success can compensate for failure in the home. I don't know how long I have with all of the things I have. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But what I do know is that I do not want my children ever to feel like they that I failed them, and I never want them to feel like they failed me. Okay? If a goal grows your business but costs your family, your health, or your peace of mind, it's not success. It is not success at that point. Purpose gives direction, vision gives alignment, systems, which Michael's going to give you, gives execution. A great system helps you act on what actually matters. A great goal setting system, which you're going to get here in a second. Guys, I'm so excited to see what you guys get here. It's even more powerful when aligned with purpose, identity, and harmony. Purpose tells you why a system shows you how. Okay. So ask yourself, which domain have I been over prioritizing? Which domain have I been neglecting? What goals should bring my life into harmony? Okay. Not only that, but your goals should align with each other. Your goals should be relevant with each other for the year. Again, one of the biggest reasons why people fail is because they set goals that are actually adversarial, that cause friction. I love that word friction. If you feel like there's friction, if you feel like you're fighting upstream to achieve something, it's probably because you need to change something. So think about that. When your goals are rooted in purpose, they stop feeling heavy and they start pulling you forward. Simplify direction, create harmony, become who you're called to be. By the way, guys, you see there's some typos and some things in this. Progress over perfection. Progress over perfection. 80% of a goal achieved is better than 100% of a goal never worked on. Okay, guys? I'm going to end here. Let me just drop really quick. I'm going to drop the tool and then I'll wrap it up. I'll turn it back over to Mike. Here we go. All right, guys. Here is the Google Doc so that you guys can create your life map. Here's my final words for you guys. I have over my computer in my office, this is my studio, down in my office downstairs. I have next to my computer or on a Post-it note, just at the top corner, this saying. It says, and I wrote this from the perspective of my competition, and my competition can be the adversary to all that's good. It can be the next coach. It could be anything or anybody that's trying to hold me back. But I write it from the perspective of my competition. My competition tells me daily this: Josh, my done crap will beat your undone perfect every day of the week. My done crap will beat your undone perfect every day of the week. Guys, it is about progress. It is not about perfection. The purpose statement, your life map, is about moving you in the right direction. It is not about living it perfectly. It's not about today I'm bad, tomorrow I'm good. It's about incremental change. It's about every day saying, how can I do a little better? And then when we fall short, waking up, extending ourselves the same grace that God's given us, forgiving ourselves, and moving forward. Leaders, brothers, sisters, entrepreneurs, your life is a priceless, precious gift. And with that gift, you have one job: to be used for good, to allow yourself to be used for good. Let me put it another way: to say yes to being used for good. Who's going to be used for good today? I want to see it in the chat. Drop a yes if you're going to be used for good today and every day hereafter. Yes, yes, beautiful. I love you. I want you to know I'm going to say the same thing that I say to each of my family members at night. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thank you for having me here. Michael, thank you for inviting me. This has truly been a pleasure. I'm excited to hang out for the rest of the time and see what Michael has. Thank you so much.
Awesome and amazing. Everybody give it up for Josh one time in the chat. Let him know how amazing and awesome he is. Thank you, Josh, so much for coming up here. And I didn't pay Josh. He didn't ask for anything in return. He just said, you know what? I love your mission. He said, I love the people that you're trying to serve. I want to come in and just add value. So everybody just put a thank you in the chat. Let me know let us know what was your biggest takeaway from that session. If you could, just let me know what your biggest takeaway was. So we can let Josh know in the chat. And Josh, if you could spam the chat a couple of times with that Google document, that'd be great. I think they're asking for it a couple of times. So if you could just put that in there. But if you could, share your biggest takeaways real quick so I can kind of see what you really resonated with from that conversation. I did hear Josh speak back a couple years ago on, that work life balance, business and life balance, and then realize, okay, I got to bring this guy in the future to teach on more stages with me. And so I'm excited. I love it. LMB says one job is to say yes, purpose, and walk through with grace. Adversary statement: start with spiritual is progress over perfection. Let's go. Defining by purpose. I love this. I love this. Well, so today we're going to go ahead and continue this conversation. And he teed this perfectly up. So part of my talk, I don't even have to talk about because he already did it amazingly well. And so I'm going to come in and kind of give you some tactical things you can do to help you increase the chance that you hit those big goals, those big dreams in 2026. Okay. But can I send you guys on a journey back to like 2015, 2016, Michael? Is that okay? Just put a yes in the chat if I take you back a little bit. So back in high school, I had, like I said, I've always been a big dreamer. I was like, okay, how can I just live life to the max? So back in high school, I was like, man, I'm gonna do something crazy that I've never done before. I'm gonna try to do something that, you know, challenges me, pushes me. I truly believe we should be doing things daily that get us out of our comfort zone. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to do something different as we go about, whatever year it was. I think it was like, yeah, 2015, 2016. So I'm going to try something new. And so I had always kind of liked exercising and running, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna try running a marathon for the first time. I've never done this before, but I'm gonna try it. I've done some 5Ks. I've ran a mile. I've done that. That's easy for me. I could do that. But I'm gonna go stretch myself and try something a little bit more demanding. And so I jumped in and I tried a marathon. But I started training for this marathon, and if you know anything about running, which I'm sure some of you all may have ran at some point in your life, whether it's running to the bathroom, running to the fridge, running in a 5K, I don't know you ran. Once you get over a certain point, running becomes monotonous, it becomes boring, it becomes hard, right? And so I went on this journey and I started training, and I realized that a lot of like this goal of running a marathon, of going out there and achieving this big aspiration of mine was going to be a lot harder than I realized. And there was going to be more to it than just setting the goal and actually just running a marathon. There was a lot of preparation, there was a lot of training, there was a lot of things I needed to do. And so I learned lessons pretty fast as I started doing this, because what happened is I started realizing that, you know what, this is number one, is going to take me time. Number two, I can't do this alone. Everybody put I can't do this alone in the chat. I can't do this alone by myself. Number three, not only that was going to take time, I couldn't do this alone. I needed a plan and I needed a system. And after weeks and weeks and months of like beating my head against the wall, saying, man, I'm just not making any progress. Some days I feel like running, some days I don't. I'm just not getting closer to my goal probably I think I started in like January and it got into like February, March. I just wasn't making any progress. And so I decided, I said, hey, I'm going to create a system around hitting this goal. I'm going to create a system that's going to allow me to get closer to the success that I'm desiring in this area of my life. And so I went and implemented what I'm about to show you all today. And I implemented this thing. And I'm going to be honest, I was able to go run that marathon and go hit that goal faster than I, had ever dreamed of because I implemented a system. At the time, I didn't know it was a system. I just, put some certain things in place. I knew what increases my odds of winning in that area of my life. And it greatly, greatly surprised me. And so today, I'm going to share with you what I kind of implemented then and what I went on to go and kind of systematize for myself, what I've used, for the past years to go and just set and crush big goals. Now, I don't want to brag. I'm not here to be boastful or prideful, but using this same system that I'm about to show you, I've been able to go not only run marathons, but ride century rides. I've been able to do like Ironman style events, right? I've been able to go and start nonprofits, grow businesses to six figures. I've been able to do a lot of things all because of this framework. Now, am I saying it's all about the money? It's all about, no, I'm not saying that. But there's a system. I truly believe if you want to make 2026 a breakout year for you, you guys want that, right? Just put a one in the chat. You want 2026 to be your breakout year. You can't go at it random. You can't, I truly believe you can't just go out guns a-blazing and just not have a system and the processes in place to go win in 2026. Because what I see most people do is December 1st comes and they start kind of thinking about their goals. December 25th comes, Christmas comes, they're eating some candy, they're eating some Christmas cookies, and they're like, just January's coming soon. But then December 31st and January 1st hits, and they say, okay, I have this goal. I'm going to go lose weight. I'm going to go grow my business. And they just jump right on in, but there's no methodology behind what they're doing. And so I don't want that to be you. I don't want that to be you, Roderick. I don't want you to be that to be you, Thomas. I don't want that, Erica. I don't want that to be you. I want you to be the 1% that goes into 2026 prepared with a plan to crush and dominate the new year. Okay? See, most people, they jump in, they set these goals, and they go straight from, okay, I know what I want to do, and I'm going to go work the plan, but there's more things that you need to do before you actually go and execute. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pull out my handy dandy iPad. A lot of you all know me. I don't do slides many times, to be honest with y'all. I do a lot of just drawing. I'm more of a drawer. I like to draw things. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes people can read my writing. Sometimes they can't read my writing, but today, is it okay if I just share my screen and give you guys a simple 5-step blueprint that you can implement? Now, listen, let me say it. This blueprint is simple. Is it easy? No, I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple. So what I'm going to show you today is a simple framework you can implement. And so what I want you to do is I want you all to just execute with this as fast as possible. You don't have to go and I'm not asking you to go eat a whole elephant today. I'm like, hey, let's just start little steps here and there. Don't overthink this. Don't overthink this. But I'm going to give you my five-step Goal Crushers framework. Let's open up my iPad here. Here we go. And if you guys want, just a reminder for those new faces in here, welcome in, welcome in. We actually have just a reminder, all this is recorded for the VIP. It's only $29. Again, it's for some, and it won't be for others. But if you want to go ahead and upgrade to get lifetime access to the replays, go ahead and do so. It may help you in the end. All right. So we'll send all this out later. All righty. Let's see. All right. To make sure YouTube, you guys can see my face and you can see my screen. Okay. Awesome. We're good now on YouTube. Awesome. So the first thing I truly feel like everybody should do in here, if you want to go crush 2026, and Josh already teed me up for this. So that's why I said I don't think we really have to go deep into this. I really feel like there's some people in this room right now. You could tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I truly feel like there's a lot of ambitious people, Caroline, in this room right now, that they have so many things they want to do in 2026. And one thing I see some entrepreneurs people in general, what happens is when they go to set New Year's resolutions, they're not super crystal clear on what they want to achieve. So inside of the framework we teach, the first thing we teach is number one, you have to make a decision. Now, this is pretty simple and straightforward because, Josh kind of alluded to some of these things. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. But there's a great book out there. It's called The One Thing. I don't know if you guys have read it before or not, but I would recommend everybody grab that book. I'm going to be dropping some books here throughout the day that I hope you all take note of. But The One Thing is a great book. But I see so many people, they don't truly, truly, truly know exactly what they want to achieve. And I think before we can go do anything in 2026, we need to make a clear decision on what's the big focus for that year. It could be a big focus in your life or your business, right? Josh said everything's got to start out spiritual. But what is that one thing? Because I'm going to be honest, I've seen some of your all's vision boards. I've seen some of your all's goals for the new year, and they're a little bit everywhere, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I see some people, they come, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so you guys can see me real quick. I see some individuals, they're trying to build 3, 5 different businesses at once, but they haven't even perfected and started gaining traction in one, right? And so I just want to say the first thing you need to do is make a decision. What do I truly, truly want? And you need to get crystal clear. I'm loving it. I see this in the chat. I love it. I see The One Thing. Yep, The One Thing. I don't know the author. Somebody just DM me and said, "What's the author?" I can't even remember the author. I would be lying to you if I told you I remember the author. Somebody else in the chat could probably tell you who the author was, but I just remember that like really solidified in my head. Okay, Michael. Actually, let me kind of share just a backstory. This is not supposed to be talked about. It just came to my mind as you asked who the author was. So back in 20, I guess like a year or two ago, I was doing real estate. Not many people know I was doing real estate as well as digital marketing. And so I jumped in and I was doing real estate and man, my energy was split. Real estate was taking a lot from me. My digital marketing was, and I read this book, The One Thing. And you know what I decided to do? I decided to look at myself and say, hey, what has the biggest opportunity for me in my life, right? What aligns with my future, like Josh was talking about? What is the one thing I could see myself doing long term that aligns with my 1 year, 10 year, 5 year plan? And so because I read that book, and because I knew I needed to make a clear decision on where I wanted my energy and everything to go, I actually got rid of real estate. Not many people know that. That's not like a main point of today. But that's one thing I decided to do to get crystal clear. And I made a decision a year or two ago that, you know what, I may buy like some small investment stuff here and there, but I'm not actively doing real estate because if I go all in this one area, it's going to bear the most fruit in my life. If I focus on this one area in my health, if I focus on this one thing, area of my finances, it's going to bear the most fruit. And so for me in my business, it was just focusing, and for my income, I should say, it was just focusing on my digital marketing agency. Now, a lot of people, they're pretty vague with what they want. And so my goal is you need to make it specific. And some of you all, and like Josh alluded to, is you set a goal because you think it's what should be done. You set a goal because you've maybe heard a friend, they shared on social media, hey, this is where I'm shooting for. You're like, hey, I kind of want that too. But you haven't actually sat down and say, hey, what is it that is truly going to help me? So before we go into 2026 at all, what I would love for you all to do today is I would love for you to go in and ask yourself, hey, what is it that I truly want? What is it? What is the one thing that I need to focus on now? And so I want you to take what Josh taught you, and I want you to dive deeper into that. I'm going to spend most of the time on the next four topics and 4 tips, but get really specific. Be specific when it comes to setting your goals. It's not I just want to lose weight, because that's not measurable. Some of you are saying, hey, I want to grow my business in 2026. Cool. What does that mean? You get what I'm saying, Tom? I see you shaking your head. Some of you say, you know what? I want to get better at basketball. What does that mean? Hey, I want to get better. I want to get better at running. What does that mean? So I see too many people, they set their goals and they're too general. You have to make them specific. You have to decide, focus on the top thing, not a million things. Focus on a small group of things. I prefer one big thing for myself personally, and it has to be specific. So instead of, hey, I want to lose weight, guess what? Hey, I want to lose 50 pounds in the next 90 days. Next, I'm making this up. Hey, guess what? You know what? Last year in our business, we made 100,000. Guess what? By the end of 2026, I want to make at least $500,000. That's measurable. That's something that you can go and guess what? We can go and reverse engineer. A lot of y'all haven't reverse engineered success, have you? Let's just be honest with each other. You realize every single goal, as long as it's specific enough, you can reverse engineer it somehow, some way. I truly believe that. Hey, I want to read, or I want to read the Bible a little bit more. I want to read a books a little bit more. Okay, let's cool. Let's make it really specific. What's the time frame? What is it going to be? Let's reverse engineer. What is it going to take to read the entire book of the Bible in a year? What's it going to take to hit that 50 pounds lost in 6 months, 3 months? So, number one, I want you all to get specific with your goals. Okay. Number two, and I'll just write this down for you guys. I want you all to dream big in 2026. I want you all to dream big in 2026. You're like, Michael, I feel like I'm dreaming big. Well, cool, awesome. But what I realize is so many people, they sell themselves short. So I'm just going to write this down so you guys can take notes. I feel like there's some of you all in here, you've been settling for what you feel like you can achieve. No, I think it's good to be realistic with ourselves, Johnny. I really feel like we should like kind of, you know, at sometimes I believe you sometimes we got to sit down and say, okay, what would be a good goal that I can shoot for, right? Some of you all maybe at $100,000 in revenue, and you say I want to go make $100 million in a year. Like that's probably a little bit further out of reach, right? But I do feel like there's a lot of individuals I see that they set goals that they feel like are achievable for them, but they're too small of a goal. They're too small of a goal. Anybody in here done that before? You're like, I think I can hit this goal. So I'm going to set it a little lower so it's a little bit more attainable. But what happens is there's actually a good book. Has anybody read the book 10x is better than 2x? I'm giving you all a lot of books to read. Anybody ever read the book? Josh Hall, you read that book? 10x is better than 2x? You can just put it in the chat. Go grab that book. Go grab that book. I'm just reading the chat, y'all. Sometimes I like to pause and just read the chat. I don't, it's just cool to see. I love engagement. The more engagement you give me y'all in the chat, the better it is for me. I truly believe, like Josh, life is supposed to be lived with a purpose. And I feel like we would be wasting our time away. We would be wasting our purpose away if we weren't dreaming big. And there's a lot of individuals here. You may have came into a place where life has beat you down in maybe 2025 or before. Life has beat you down, and you just feel like, hey, I don't even have the desire to dream big. Like, I don't even know if I have the energy. I would encourage you to step back and really look at the bigger picture because there's talents, there are skills, there are things that you've been gifted with that the world needs. And I would encourage you to dream big faster. Thank you. Somebody just dropped in the chat by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Yep. Thank you. Look at the macro, even if you feel like life's beat you down and you don't know how you could dream big. I want you to look at the macro, the gifts, the skills, the talents you've been given. And I want you to look at, okay, how can I go max out my life and live to the largest, live to the fullest, and really get those skills and out to the world faster. And so, what I would say is, number one, be specific, but number two, dream big. I don't have much fancy words to say about that, but I truly feel like if you haven't read the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, grab The Magic of Thinking Big. That was actually the very first self-development book that I read in high school. One of my friends, I don't know if he's in here, one of my best friends, Caleb Allen, was actually working with me as a part-time restaurant server. So we were young teenagers and we were working as restaurant servers. And one day I don't know if it was for my birthday or something. I have the book somewhere here in my basement. But he gave me this book, and it was I was like, what is this book? The Magic of Thinking Big. I didn't know. I just had gotten into business for the first time. And I had, not really read any books. And he said, "Hey, read this book. I think it'd be great as you're starting your business." And it changed the way it completely changed the way I looked at life, goals, business. And so read that book, The Magic of Thinking Big. Um, and so lastly, the thing I'll say about this is when you're making a decision is set authentic goals. Set authentic goals that are original to you, right? Because again, I said this earlier, but I think majority of the times we just copy others. And there's going to be really no benefit of copying others when you're setting your goals. You're probably copying them for the wrong reasons if you are, right? It's maybe because the jealousy or envy. It could be just because you don't know, right? You haven't taken enough time to realize why that's their goal, right? But I would say, their goals that they set are tailored to their desires, their needs. You have to ask, hey, what is my needs, my goals, like Josh set out. So don't just go copy other people's goals because that's what you think you should do, because you kind of sounds cool, but set them to fit your life. Okay. So that's the first thing. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I could spend days talking about your why. I believe the one thing everybody should do is really figure out their why, why you actually want to hit that goal, because your why will get you further than a lot of things, right? But what I want to do is I want to move to the second thing you need, and this is where I'm going to really go deep into these next points. After you go ahead and make a decision today, what you really want to shoot for, and it's a big goal, it's specific, right? It's original to you. I truly believe you need to make a commitment to yourself. I truly believe you need to make a commitment to yourself. You're like, Michael, what do you mean make a commitment? So about 2017, 2018, I got into real estate for the very first time. And I was in high school, just got out of high school and started going to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Anybody in here, you found a point in your life where you didn't really have much direction? Anybody in here, you ever felt like that in your life? You're just like, I don't know, kind of know what I want to do, but not really. And so I found myself in college asking myself, what do I want to do? I was going to college for business and Christian missionary studies, but I didn't really know exactly what that meant. I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do. And so one of my friends reached out. I had actually started trying a lot of things. I started trying stock trading, Amazon drop shipping, eBay drop shipping. I tried so many different things. And then one day, one of my friends reached out and he said, Michael, I think you'd be good at real estate. I'm taking a small group of people to get into real estate. Would you be interested? Now, at this time, I had shiny object syndrome. I was trying anything and everything to make a dollar. And so I said, hey, why not? Right? Why not? I'm trying it. So I told him, I said, I don't have much money though. And so he said, "Oh, it's okay. We'll show you how to leverage other people's money. We'll show you how to get into real estate." So we jumped in and I started learning about real estate. Well, we jumped in and I was on cloud nine. Anybody ever start something you're like super amped up? Maybe you bought a course, you got a coaching program, you jumped into something like in the first like couple weeks, you're just like, "Yo, I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm amped up. I'm excited." Anybody? Okay, Mario says, "Yeah, yep." Okay, cool. So I got in. And I'm an action taker like many of you are, and so I just jumped in, Josh. And so what happened was I actually got my first deal under contract pretty fast. I went and started looking at deals, started analyzing deals. Now remember, I'm a college kid. Okay, I'm a college kid. I didn't have much money. I had some good credit, so I jumped in. And sorry, I started making making offers and started getting one or two houses under contract. And so um, one thing that happened during that time is I let my emotions trump the principles. Let me say this one more time. Never let your emotions trump the principles of business. If you want to write that down. That one's one of those that you gotta kind of keep on your computer next to you while you're working. Never let your emotions trump the principles. Eric Thomas says at the end of every principle is a promise, right? And so, but I let my emotions kind of trump the principles of my coach. What my coach was teaching me, I kind of let my emotions. I wasn't really listening to him, really following the blueprint. So guess what? I found myself just months after getting into this real estate journey, actually with not just one but two failed deals. Now let me refresh you, Josh. Let me refresh you, Rod. A college student had no money in the first place, and just had credit cards. So the first two deals I did were very unsuccessful and actually put me back in the hole tremendously. And now you're like, Michael, what's the point of this story? I'm sharing this story because I want to talk about commitment. So I'll never forget, it was really, in a rough time. Um, I was trying to find a way to out of this hole that I dug myself into because it was my fault, right? You let the emotions trump the principles, that's what's going to happen. And so I found myself in this hole. And so I remember one day, my mother owned a boutique clothing store. You guys know, like those country Hallmark stores that you see, on Christmas movies and stuff. It's kind of like that, right? But it was a boutique clothing store in a small town here in Kentucky. And so I pulled up in the truck and I walked to the door. And she was standing behind the counter, and she could tell I was kind of down. She could tell I was not myself. And she said, Michael, what's wrong? She asked what's wrong because that's what mothers have to do, but she knew what was going on. And any moms out there, you just know when your kids aren't like, what they're dealing with. Tom shaking his head because he knows mothers are like that, right? They have this intuition. They just know like what's going on with their kids. So she asked me, hey, you okay? But she knew like there was something going on and that we were struggling. And so I walked behind the counter and I told her, I said, we're just the real estate trying to get back on our feet because of it. Went thousands of dollars in debt in college. And she said, Michael, is this truly something you want to do? Referring to the real estate. She said, Michael, is this something you truly, truly want to do? And it was at that moment, standing behind the counter of a boutique clothing store, I had to make a decision. Am I going to commit to this, or am I going to run and try something else? You see, I told you I had tried drop shipping, stock trading. I even started a kettle corn store. You are wholesaling kettle corn. You're like, Michael, that's lame. I know. I even tried wholesaling kettle corn. Like I was trying anything to make money. But what I realized was it was like a light bulb clicked in my head at that moment. I don't know why. I think it was truly like a God divine moment in my life. Um, Something like clicked that day in my mind. And I look back and I was like, in that moment, like you see in movies where people like they kind of like have an outer body experience. It wasn't like that dramatic, but I kind of had this light bulb moment in my head where it was like, okay, am I going to commit to this or am I going to give up like I had everything else? And I kind of looked back briefly in that moment. I was like, well, I tried this, I tried that, I tried this, I tried that, and none of them worked. But what I realized was they didn't work because the vehicle was bad. It didn't work because I didn't work it. And so a lot of people, the reason why you're not where you want to be today, and maybe you jumped in, you're trying to learn AI, you're trying to learn this business, you just haven't committed long enough to perfect that skill and that craft. And so at that moment, as I was standing there, I realized, man, what if, because I had to respond to her. She asked, are you sure you want to do this? And I had to answer yes or no. I told her yes. I said, yeah, this is something I want to do. And it was that commitment that actually pushed me to actually make real estate successful and climb out of that, right? And so, um, is this making sense to you guys? Let me know in the chat if this is making sense so far. Let me know in the chat. Okay, cool. And so, a lot of you all, and this was me, you've been jumping in and out of things, in and out, in and out of things. And I was only trying things for 2 to 3 months at a time. And I was saying, oh, this doesn't work. That doesn't work. I tried it for 3 months. But what I didn't realize was that I just wasn't committed long enough. And if I look back and I kind of compared to some of the greatest of basketball, some of the greatest in football, or some of the greatest in business, they all took years to commit to one thing and perfect it. Right? You look back to Michael Jordan. How did he become one of the greatest basketball players of all time? He did it through commitment. I think they said Michael Jordan didn't even make his freshman basketball team or something like that. So that must mean he had to have been bad, bad, or that he had a growth spurt. But I don't know. I don't know Michael Jordan that well to be able to tell you. But I don't know him at all. I said I don't know him that well. I don't know him at all. But what happened was he showed up again. And again, he made a daily commitment to himself to perfect that craft and that skill. So what I truly believe, the second thing, after you know what you want to chase and what you want to do in 2026, I truly believe we have to make a commitment to ourselves that we're going to see this through no matter what. Despite the highs and the lows, despite whatever is going to come our way, we have to make a commitment to see things through no matter what. When's the last time you made a commitment to yourself to see something through? What I want to encourage you all to do today is write down a commitment statement. One of my good friends, Nehemiah Davis, I've worked with Nehemiah for many years now. He has this commitment statement he always gives out to people at the beginning of his conversations. He says, I want you to write down on a piece of paper, I am committed and devoted to, and then whatever that goal is, that detail, that specific, that big, that authentic goal, write that down on paper, sign it, date it, put it somewhere where you can see it every day. Make a commitment to yourself that you're going to see this through. Now, I don't want you to just make a commitment personally. You know what I want you to do, and this is the something we're going to talk about later. I want you to share that commitment with other people. So we're going to be talking about one of the next steps here in the next near future is we're going to be talking about how you can share your plan with people. Because I truly believe maybe one of the reasons why you haven't got to where you want to be is because you just don't have enough accountability. But make a commitment to yourself today. I want you to keep it in front of you. I want you to revisit that daily. Kind of like what Josh was talking about with his statements, revisiting those often because you're going to change your identity. I want you to do that same thing with your commitment statement. It's easier said than done, let me just say that. But I truly believe when you see the goal, when you see that commitment statement more frequently than not, there's gonna be a higher chance that you're gonna commit and stick with that goal. All right. So if this is good information so far, you've learned a lot from Josh. You learned a lot so far in this class. Just let us know in the chat. So number one, you got to make a decision on what you truly want. Make sure it's specific. It's a big goal. It's authentic to yourself. Number two, you got to make a commitment that you're going to see this through no matter what. You're going to push through even when life hands you a fist to the face, even when life tries to kick you to the curb. The curb. You're going to show up no matter what, because that's what matters. Number three, after you make a commitment, see, this is what happens. A lot of people, they don't reverse engineer their goals, and so that's what I'm going to kind of show you to do in a brief moment. I want you to make a plan. Don't just jump in and just go straight to the gym. Don't just jump in and try to go straight to increasing your marketing spend to try to increase your revenue. No, no, no. Those are good things. Yeah, I think you should go to the gym, but why not start with a plan first so you have predictable success? Everybody put predictable success in the chat because that's what happens when you actually make a detailed plan is you actually can predict the outcome. I can't predict what happens between now and the outcome, but I can predict I can make it a little bit more easier to get there. I want you to make a plan. Now, not a general plan. Again, everything has to be detailed. Not a plan that's just, hey, guess what? I'm gonna go to the gym once a week and that's it. And I'm gonna go to the gym 3 days a week and that's it. No, 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 no. I want you to actually make a plan that is detailed. And so when you're making your plan, I want you to ask a few questions. Number one, if you're writing this down, um, how will I achieve my goal? What's going to be the mechanism, the model, the strategies I'm going to use to hit my goal? So number one, ask how will I achieve my goal? Write that down. The second thing I want you to ask yourself is this: when will I achieve my goal? What's the time frame I want to achieve this by? Because you can't really reverse engineer if you don't have this timepiece. And then this is one piece a lot of people leave out that I like to look at is what happens when I achieve my goal. What happens when I achieve my goal? And I'll break each of these down. Number one, how will I achieve my goal? You need to look at what steps am I going to take to win. And I kind of like look at this and I teach some of my students, so they've heard me talk about this before, but I kind of take a 30,000-foot view of the entire journey. I kind of like to zoom out and look at it whenever I'm looking at this goal. Okay, hey, let's actually share my screen real quick. Do do do. Okay, cool. So this is what I like to do. I like to identify where I'm at right now. Where am I? So I'm here, right? This is me, the starting point. And then I need to see over here, where do I want to go? Right? Where's the destination? Sorry, y'all, my handwriting is not that good. I told you all, I warned you about that earlier. Let me actually just erase this and rewrite it. So what is the destination? Where do I want to go? And I need to ask myself, what are the steps I need to take to in order to get there? What are the big milestones? I love the word milestones that I can use and that I can what are the big milestones I can identify that are going to be on my journey as I get closer, right? So, for example, when I was running that marathon I talked about at the very beginning of the time, right? That the big destination for me was I want to run that 26 miles or 26.5 miles, right? I had to identify what are the milestones I can identify and shoot for on the way there. Because so many people, guess what? They try to just go straight for the macro, they try to go straight for the big. But if you broke down your goals into bite-sized pieces, if you break them down into smaller goals, you bring them down into smaller milestones. I call them mini goals. It's gonna be a whole lot easier to get where you want to go. It's gonna be a lot less daunting. It's gonna be a lot less overwhelming to get to where you want to be, right? So identify those things that you need to do every single day, every single week, every single month to achieve this goal. Guess what? You know what I need to do? If I'm running a marathon, if I'm running, you know what I got to do? I got to stretch daily, right? You need to take an audit of all the actions it takes to hit that goal. You're gonna stretch. I gotta stretch daily. Guess what? I gotta get on a diet, right? Because I can't be eating ice cream every day. I can't be doing it if I really want to truly hit my goal faster. And guess what? You know what? I need to get 8 hours of sleep. Guess what? You know what? I gotta make sure I get a trainer. These are all things I gotta do, and I can place them out and say, okay, number one, these are the actions I need to take. So these are actions, and then milestones. Oh, let me go back over here. Sorry, y'all. Sometimes I get a little excited and I'm a little bit everywhere. So I hope this doesn't confuse you all. I go fast sometimes. I just get excited. My students know. They're like, yo, Michael, you gotta slow down sometimes. So you need to create mini goals. You need to create the milestones, right? So the milestones over here are the mini goals, aka mini goals, right? These are the things that you can shoot for leading up to the big goal. So instead, my destination, my big goal is 26 miles. Maybe I break it down and say, hey, you know what? A milestone would be my first 5K. Maybe my second milestone is my first 10K. Guess what? My next milestone is my first half marathon. And these are all things I can shoot for and work towards on my way to becoming a marathon runner. But then I also have to assess, and I call it your productivity system, right? Creating a productivity system. For those of you all that got the VIP for that $29, you actually get a digital copy of our New Year resolution book, and it talks about building a productivity system. So write down all the things. This is your productivity system. All these actions. What are the things you got to do to hit that goal? Okay. Now, I like to do something else. That's a little bit deeper. That's a little bit deeper. What are the things I need to get rid of that's going to stop me from getting to that goal? Ooh. So you know what you need to do, but what do you need to release and get rid of? Mm, some people say, hey, Tom, I can't go to the gym. I don't have enough time. Hey, I don't have, man, I don't have enough, Caroline, I don't have enough money to go buy that healthy food. Everybody talks about getting this healthy food. It's so expensive. But if you were to do an audit of the things could release and you don't need anymore, you may find that money you need to go eat healthy. You may go find the time that you need to go to the gym. So not only take an audit of all the actions you need to take, but take an audit of all the actions you don't need to take and the things you need to release in 2026. Just make somebody says mobile fitness is coming out. Yes, mobile fitness is coming out. They'll come to you. A lot of these places, they said no excuses. You don't have time to go to the gym, drive back from the gym. We're coming to your house. I've seen that. It's pretty cool. So this is simple. Identify the milestones, identify the actions you need to take, identify the actions you don't need to take. Very simple. I would suggest what I want you all to do, what I would suggest you should take maybe 1 hour this week and you identify those things. This is kind of how you work on like building that, the question was how will I achieve my goal? That's how you answer that question is right here. Take an hour, identify these things. To be honest, with AI, you could speak to AI and it'd probably be done faster. You could take 5, 10 minutes. I'm going to actually give you guys a custom GPT tool here in just a minute for everybody that you can use if you want to go through the book and then you want to go through this training and you want to go ask GPT. It's trained on like our book and this process, and it'll help you. Okay. So I'll give you that in just a few minutes. But this is the first thing I do when I'm making a plan. So, hey, I want to go, let's break it down a little bit differently, right? Hey, I want to go and I'm going to, make an extra $100,000 in this year, right? That's my goal. Okay. Well, cool. What are the milestones I need to shoot for? Okay, guess what? To hit 100K, guess what? You know what? A good milestone would be to get my first 10K month, right? Just to shoot for that. Hey, guess what? A good milestone for me to hit would be 50K. I could break it down into chunks, right? Hey, guess what? What actions do I need to make an extra 100K? Okay, guess what? You know what? I need to make content every day because I know I don't have money for ads. Maybe that's some of you all in here. So guess what? I know content is free, so I need to go make content. Okay, what else is going to help me hit my goals? Okay, guess what? If I want to make an extra $100,000, I need to make a couple new products because I have the business, but my products maybe aren't selling that well. So I need to create new products. Okay. What other actions are going to help me get closer to that goal? Okay, hey, I need a message 10 prospects per week. What I recommend you do is, some of you all, you can reverse engineer. Like numbers are a lot less. Let me say it this way: numbers are a lot easier to reverse engineer for those of you all that have income goals. Because I can go say, okay, I want to make an extra $100,000 this year. Okay, $100,000 broken over 365 days. That gives me a daily, goal I should hit. Actually, one of my friends and one of my past clients, she actually did this same thing. She went and she had an income goal for a year. And she said, okay, to hit my income goal, I had to make this amount every single day. And so guess what? She didn't focus on making that 100,000. You know what she focused on? Every single day, making that 300 and something dollars. Okay, I know to make $300 a day, I got to make this many sales. She didn't get off Instagram Live. She didn't get off sales calls until she made that $300 per day. And guess what? She did hit her goal every single day. She didn't go to sleep till she made that amount every day. I'm not saying you guys shouldn't go to sleep until you hit that amount. I'm just saying you can reverse engineer a lot easier with income for those of you all that want to. So the big question is, how can I reverse engineer, right? And so that's how you'll hit your goal, just some basic things that you can do. Second thing I would say is, that question that we were talking about was not only how will you achieve your goal, but when will I achieve my goal, right? Put a time frame on it, right? Is it by the end of the year? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? What is that, right? Get really specific so you have something to look at in the calendar. So you can go actually, I recommend you do put it on the calendar. Makes it a lot easier. I actually just talked to my students recently about the power of using a calendar. So many of you all, you're just kind of winging life. Get you a calendar. Get you a calendar. So, anyways. Whew. And then last thing I'll say is what happens when I achieve my goal. So a lot of people, they go and they create a plan, but they don't have any like reward system in place for if they hit their goal. And I think everybody should have incentives they should shoot for, right? What is an incentive that if you hit that goal, you may reward yourself or you'll treat yourself? I honestly think it makes things a little bit more enticing if you go to your wife and say, hey, wife, you know what? I'm gonna shoot for this big goal. If we hit the goal, we're gonna go on vacation together. Guess what? That creates buy-in with the family. That creates buy-in with her, with you, right? We set these big goals, these big dreams. At the same time, another friend told me one time, he says, you need to set a goal like, what happens if you don't hit that goal? Right? So yes, you need to set a goal like what happens if you do hit that goal, but what happens if you don't hit that goal? What's going to be the consequence? And so those are just little things that could help you. Like, hey, the consequence may be, guess what? You know what? If I don't hit this goal, guess what? I'm gonna have to donate to a charity I don't like. That's a little extreme. I'm not saying to do that, but you guys get the example, right? Kind of set incentives and consequences with your goals for increased chances of hitting those goals. Now, I'm speeding through this, y'all, because I know we're at about an hour and a half. I promised you about 2 hours. So number one, you got to make a decision. Number two, make a commitment. Number three, make a plan. Number four, which is my favorite. This one's my favorite out of all of them. You got to share the plan. Number four is share the plan. You're like, Michael, what do you mean share the plan? There is, let me just say it this way. There's power when you go out there and you tell other people about your goals, right? So let's go with number four. Now, I talked earlier to you all about creating a commitment to yourselves. I want you to share that commitment, that big goal with other people. Because a lot of the reasons why you haven't got to where you want to be is because you've been trying to do things alone and you have nobody to help you get where you want to be. And you're like, Michael, I don't think anybody will support me. I'm afraid if I share my goal, people are going to look down on me. They will, but it's okay. What's going to happen is at the same time, when you go share these dreams, you share these goals with people, you may have people that don't like your ideas. You may have family that don't understand you. You may have friends that don't understand you. But guess what? You're going to gain new people at the same time that fall in love with your dream, fall in love with your mission, and you're going to find new friends, new people. I'm not saying you have to get rid of old friends, but get new people that are going to tap in and say, wow, I also have that same goal. That I would love to do that as well. And so let's go in here. So you guys remember I talked about running that marathon. Well, guess what? I realized I couldn't do it alone. So guess what I did? Is I started reaching out to people sharing that I knew at my local gym in my area that I kind of see at the gym occasionally, and it's people I knew and were friends with, and I just started sharing, hey, I'm running a marathon, I'm just kind of telling you to keep myself accountable. But what happened was I found a guy, he was like, you know what, that sounds really cool. I would love to run a marathon too. I've always considered doing something extreme. And this guy, I love him. He was an older gentleman. When I say older, he was older than me. He's probably in his 40s. He said, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. And so, guess what? Just by sharing my plan with other people, I found people that wanted to run that marathon with me, which created instant accountability. When I have somebody I can go to and say, "Hey, this is our training plan. Did you run your miles yesterday? Hey, did you run your miles yesterday? Today? Are you going on a run tomorrow?" Accountability instantly increases your chances for hitting the goal. And so, what I recommend a lot of people do is number one, share your plan with the people closest to you. Like I said, you may get some backlash, but go to the easiest, well, I say easy, not easiest, but go to the people closest to you. That could be your best friends. It could be people that you've done business with before. It could be people, your family. Share that with them. Share that with them. So, you know, they can support you. They can help you. Some may not, but it's okay. It's okay. Share it with your inner circle. That's the fastest and easiest way. Go tell your wife that goal. Go tell your best friend that goal that you're shooting for. Because this is what happens. I'm not the goal. The reason why I'm having you do this is not because really having you look for support. Yes, I think support is fine, but I think the main reason why I found it works is that there's a difference between support and accountability. Let me just say this. You guys realize there's a difference between support and accountability? There can be, Mary. Let me explain this. When you go share your goals with people, how is it going to look if you take back your word? Let me say it this way. Caroline says, hey, you know what? I'm growing this business. I have this big vision for this calling God's put in my life. I know Caroline, so she's, helping women who are in their 40s, 50s plus find their calling and find their purpose again. If she goes tells people that she's on this journey to build this mission and build this with the world, but then guess what? 3 months, 6 months later, when people ask her about it, hey, how's that thing going? Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. How's she gonna feel when people come and start asking her those questions, right? Because they will. You start telling people about it, they're gonna say, hey, how's that marathon training going? Hey, how's it going with the weight loss training? Hey, how's it going with your business? I saw online you were growing. What happens is it creates accountability for yourself. It creates it and it kind of puts it out there like, hey, there's no going back. So share it with people closest to you. One thing I love is social media. Share it on social media. I would encourage you all, like, if you have a big goal, a big dream, maybe go on Facebook, make a post. Hey, y'all, I'm so excited. 2026, the biggest goal I have is this. You know what? This is why. Hey, my goal is to run this marathon. This is why I'm doing it. Just kind of putting this out there for accountability. I love social media. It's so easy to create an instant accountability for people when you post on social media. It could be Facebook, Instagram, doesn't matter. And one thing you could do is use social media a little bit deeper and document. Everybody type document in the chat. One thing I love is I love using social media to document the journey at the same time. You want to take a deeper level of accountability? Start documenting your journey on to hitting your goal. Michael, what do you mean? Back when I got into real estate, you know what I did at the very beginning is I started a podcast, Miss Williams. KJ, I started a podcast. Now you're like, Michael, you started a podcast. You know nothing about real estate. You were just starting. Yes, I did know nothing about real estate, but I didn't use the podcast as oh, I'm an expert. Come learn from me. No, I'm documenting my journey. If you want to come learn what I'm learning, come listen to this podcast. And guess what? I found a group of people that loved hearing what I learned, and it created accountability because every week on Monday I had to release an episode. I told people I got this real estate podcast, so every week I would drop an episode of what I learned. One of my friends, I saw he was doing some big nonprofit work, and he had this big goal for his nonprofit. And so I think the goal was to like raise a certain amount of money. And so every day he would just go live sharing update. Hey, yesterday this is how much we raised. Hey, this, over the past month this is how much we made with for the charity work for the cause. Right? So use social media, go live, document the process. So some goals you have maybe a little personal. You may not want to put out to the social world. But I would encourage you to find a way if you can. If you can. So share it with your inner circle, share it on social media. Find an accountability partner. Share if you have somebody that you can actually share with, and somebody that maybe has the similar goal as you. Maybe try to partner up with them and actually, create an accountability system that way. That's those are just great ways. So all in all, to summarize that point all up, is I truly feel like you need to find a way to share the plan. Don't skip this one. I promise you, this one will move the needle a lot further than probably any of the other ones. After you have your plan, find a way to share it and make it known to the world what you're about to do. That's how movements are made, a lot of times when people just go and share their passion, share their vision, share their ideas. Okay. So let's just recap real quick. Number one, make a decision. What am I actually going to pursue? Number two, make a commitment. I'm going to see this through no matter what. Number three, I got to make a plan. How am I going to action this out? I got to be methodical. I got to reverse engineer. I got to look at the milestones, the actions. And then number four, I got to share this plan, share the big vision with people, share what I'm about to embark on to create accountability in my life. And number five, I got to work the plan. Nothing works but work itself. You can set the biggest goal. You can set the biggest dreams. You can go share the plan, but if you don't work, sorry, you'll be at the same place at the end of 2026, December 31st, 2026. You'll be coming back to me and saying, "Man, Michael, I'm actually going to take action this time." I don't want you to say that next year. I want you to say, "I did take action. Guess what happened?" So there's this formula. I love come up with formulas, and so I call this the success formula. And the success formula just states the right actions over the right amount of time. Let's see. Equals your goal. So if you take the right actions, which you already identified, if you just take the right actions over the right amount of time, you're eventually going to hit your goal. Now, let's talk about the actions versus the time. There's some of you all in here today. You need a coach. If I want to be honest, I'm not saying that's me. It could be anybody. One of the quickest, best ways to get to where you want to be faster is just modeling somebody that's already been there, a coach, a mentor. Because some of you all, and including myself, have been taking actions we thought were the right actions. But if we were to go find a coach and we were to audit and actually go dive deeper, they're probably not the actions we need to be taking at this moment in time. Does that make sense? Anybody ever found something like you thought you were doing the right thing, but then you found out a month, 2 months, 3 months later, maybe even just hours later, like, hey, that's not the right actions. Maybe somebody asked you at work to go do something and you thought you were doing the right action at work. You thought you made the pizza right. You thought you thought you did the inventory right, but then when you go back and they're like, "Oh, you did that wrong." So there's a lot of you, man, you've been taking the wrong actions, right? You've been taking the wrong actions for far too long, right? You've been in the game. You're telling me, you're like, "Yo, Michael, man, I've been trying this real estate thing. I've been trying this business thing for like years." And when I go look, I'm like, "Oh, why are you doing it that way?" Or your mentor, your coach, is like, "Why are you doing it that?" Like that's 2000's way of building a business. Like, well, let's bring you up to speed to 2026. So ask yourself, hey, how can I get a coach? Who do I need as a mentor to help me get to my goals faster? Because I don't want you taking the wrong actions. I just want you to focus on the right things that are going to move the needle. Now, there's some of you all in here, you've been taking the right actions, but you're just like, Michael, I've been doing the thing, but I just feel like I'm not getting there fast. But you just haven't been doing it. You've been not doing it long enough. You can't look at me and say, Michael, man, I've been trying, I've been doing this. I got a coach. I got a coach, I got a mentor. They told me to do this, but it's been 2 months and I haven't seen results. Probably just haven't committed long enough to it. You haven't been in the game long enough. You haven't those actions haven't compounded just yet. You guys realize if you compound 1% every day, if you just got 1% better in your health, your finances, your relationships, your money, your business, you're not going to see the results today. 1%, like if I was to look at, Josh or Mary who's here, and I just said, okay, are you making 1% changes? And you're saying yes. And the first week or two, especially like if you're doing a fitness, if you're in health, I'm not going to tell 1% difference for the first few days. But you compound over weeks and months and years, guess what's going to happen? That those actions are going to compound. So some of you all, you just haven't let the right actions compound over long enough time. One thing I recommend for those of you all that are struggling with that is finding a community to tap in with. A community to tap in with. That's that accountability I was talking about, right? I truly believe everybody needs a coach and everybody needs a community. If you can't find a community for what you're doing, build one, right? Facilitate your own. But I believe it. You get the coach to give you the right actions to take. You go and you find a community to change that wrong time to the right time, because guess what's going to happen? The community is going to help you stay in the game. They're going to keep you accountable. They're going to help you when you feel like, I feel like giving up on this. They're going to push you to keep going. You know what? I tried this. It's not working. You get discouraged. Guess what? They're going to lift you up. But if you just do this, if you just take the right actions or right at the time, you have the persistence, you have the patience, y'all, you will hit that. You will get there. You will get there. So ask yourself, in 2025, did I actually work the plans I created? Did I take the right actions? Did I put in the work over the right amount of time? Or do I just think I did? Like, did I actually? But then ask yourself, hey, going into 2026, who's the coach I need? Where's a community I can tap into? If you do those three things, y'all, I promise you at the end of 2026, you're going to be looking at me and saying, Michael, man, this is crazy. My life's different. Actually, I was at a conference one time and I was helping one of my clients run a conference. And a lady came up to the hall and I didn't know her. And she came up and tapped me on the shoulder and I turned around and she said, "Are you Michael Tucker?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I attended your Gold Crushers workshop. I just want to say thank you. I actually started my business and hit my income goals because I just followed that blueprint." And she actually, while we were there standing in the hall of this conference venue, she opened up her book and showed me how everything. She showed me her commitment statement. She showed me the plan she had created. It was all on a calendar where the milestones were in the calendar. And she shared everything with me and she went and started her own business and hit her income goal. Now, you may not have a goal to hit, start your own business or hit an income goal, but the system works if you work it. Don't overcomplicate things. You don't need a fancy planner. You don't need to go to this fancy goal setting conference where you're going to spend 1,000, 2,000. It just starts with you taking action on these things. So my question is, will you all take action and do these things? Josh says, I wouldn't be where I am today without coaches and communities. 100%. Same here. Same here. So I want you to identify now. I have a custom GPT I'm going to give to you all. I made it very quick. I hope I uploaded my book into it. I'm going to drop this in the chat. You all can use this. When you go to the custom GPT, I just dropped in the chat. VIP, this will be put in your portal so you can have it later. But when you click this link, you can actually go in there and it'll help you decide what you want to focus on, to make that decision, and actually help you go create a commitment statement, actually go help you create your plan and create accountability. So all you have to do is, let me actually just share with you guys. When you click that link that's in the chat, you have to have a Chat GPT account. You have to have a Chat GPT account, okay? But you guys can click this right here, and you can even help use these prompts, right? So here's one that I need help making a decision on what I should focus on. I need help creating my commitment statement. I need help creating my plan to hit my goal. How can I create more accountability in my life? Or you just ask questions and it's trained on the book and in this training right here. Go and ask it those questions. Use that to go help you. Okay. Now, I'm excited because, well, let's just take a quick pause. Has this been good? Has it been worth your time, energy being here in the room, y'all? Was this like the perfect way to end out 2025? I just want to say thank you to Josh one more time, man. I just love his heart. He has a servant's heart, and I truly believe I got to find more ways to work with Josh in the future. He truly over delivers every time. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna talk up real quick. I'm building a software for you guys that does this faster. Now it's not done, okay? So it's not done, but it will be done very soon. And I've started on it. We have something called Goal Crushers AI, okay? Goal Crusher AI. And what I'm building out is like an ecosystem where you can go track your goals, those milestones and everything. Because some of you all have big dreams, big goals. And so I just want to share what we're building. And I'm gonna share that those of you all that get VIP, you're gonna get first access to this when it rolls out as I'm testing it. Okay. My goal is that I'm just gonna kind of keep making this better and better, this software I'm about to show you. And guess what? Every year, as you set new goals, this will help you, go crush those. So this is Go Crushers AI. Let me actually pull it up real quick. Sorry, y'all. Um, this is not done, by the way. It's not done. This is just prototype. I'm still working on it. It will be probably done by next week. But this is an app we're working on right now. It's called Go Crushers AI, where you can come in and it'll actually take you through. Let me actually show you. Boom, boom, boom. You can go through and put your identity statement, your commitment statement, right? You can go put a deadline of your goal in here. You'll be able to do weekly check-ins. You're going to have today's top action items, and it's all going to be fueled with AI. Now, I'm not saying AI is going to help you do everything in your business and your goals. No, you got to do the work. But AI is going to help plan everything out and make it a little bit easier, right? Anybody like using AI? Let me know in the chat if you like using AI or not. So we have a lot going on in here. We got so much cool things that we're going to be building out for you all. We're even going to have where you can share your progress on social media. We're going to have where you can share your goal on social media, where you can print out your commitment statement with yourself. Is going to be really fun. So we're building this out. This is only the tip of the iceberg. There's more inside of it. So what we're going to be doing is going to be completely fueled with AI. So how it's going to work is you go and you fill out. It's going to take you through. Hey, what's your goal? What's your your goal? Hey, what like it's going to help you build your commitment statement all with AI. It's going to ask you questions and you're just going to type it out on your computer and it's going to fill it out. And then guess what? After you answer all the questions, it's going to put everything in one dashboard so you have one view of your entire goal, all the milestones, everything, and you can keep track of the progress on your way to hitting that goal. So that's going to be released probably in the next 7 to 10 days for you all. I'm excited. So if you're here, I'm not Nash Johnson says, are you dropping it? No, I can't drop it right now because I'm still beta testing it with me and a couple of my students. But what I will say is those of you all that get VIP for only $29, I'm going to give you lifetime access to that. It's crazy. It's going to be wild. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to be probably, it's in the future, it's probably going to be like $10 a month, $20 a month just to use it because it's going to be so powerful and it's going to have so many AI integrations into it. But for the VIP, you guys are going to get, if somebody says, can I get beta access? Not yet. I will let you all, you guys will pretty much be like the beta testers once it gets released to the public. So give me like 7 to 10 days. I know it's kind of going into January a little bit. And you're like, Michael, I'm going to start on my big goals now. I get it. But what we are going to do is we're just going to give you lifetime access when that rolls out. So just a reminder what comes with the VIP. I'm not here to sell you this. Listen, it's only $29. I don't have to stay on here forever to sell this. $29, you get lifetime access to this workshop. You get access to my digital copy of my New Year resolution book. You're going to get access to the Goal Crushers AI new software that's coming out for life just for $29. You're going to get access to the custom GPT and a workbook for this class in your portal. And then 2 other bonus trainings, how to hire virtual assistants in your business and then how to podcast your way to millions, y'all. So crazy value, crazy, crazy. It's no brainer. So just jump in if you want that. Go ahead and click the link in the chat. I think it's gocrusherslive.com/VIP. If you want to jump in and grab access to that. I'll do a specific call for those of you all that are getting access to the software. I'll do a specific call showing you how to use that. It'll be kind of be like a follow-up to this. We're going to send you an email and a text like 3 to 5 days before, and we're going to do like an onboarding call to show you how to use it. And then you can give us live feedback. Hey, can we add this feature? Can we take away this? And so it's going to be a really cool call for all you all that get that VIP. We're going to do an actual onboarding call for the Goal Crusher AI. Okay. So, All right. I love it. Mario just got it. Let's go. Teresa just got it. Tara, what's up, Tara? Good to see you again. Anzella just got it. Congratulations. Congratulations. So we're going to close this out, y'all. You can be working on it. The link's in the chat if you want to jump in and get access. Just comment working on it if you're going to be part of that beta group. So I can know to expect you inside of that orientation call we're going to host here in about 10 days or so. If you're going to jump in, I love it. Divine says I'm working on it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Miss Seller's working on it. Sonia's working on it. Okay, awesome. So Shantae just jumped in. I love it. So real quick, as we end this out, because we've been on here for about 2 hours, I just want to leave you with one last call to action. If I could tell you anything going into the new year, it would be, I want you all to leave 2026. You're going into 2026 now. If I could encourage you anything or to do anything, it would be to leave nothing on the table in 2026. I said this earlier, but I'm going to reiterate it again. I feel like there's maybe many of you all here that you left some potential in the tank. If we were to say, hey, December 31st was your last day, Josh, on this planet. Today, midnight, boom, you're done. And we were to go evaluate how 2025 was, even for myself, I kind of get convicted. I'm like, okay, what? Did I leave everything? Did I leave any gas in the tank? Or did I not? One thing I want to encourage you all to do is just go in 2026 and say, I'm going to go 110% with my talents, the skills that God's given me. And by the end of 2026, I'm going to say, I did my best. I did all that I can to serve and impact others, to step into that purpose that Josh talked about earlier. I did all that I could. Because last thing I want for you to get to the end of 2026 and have a heart and mind full of regret. I'm gonna share this one last story as we wrap this up. Um, Josh, real quick, I'm gonna share a personal story. Back in 20, was that 2020? Well, I don't know. I don't know the date. But anybody have a friend that you just know, like you look at them and they're like so talented. You guys know, like you kind of envious because like they can do so much. They're so smart. Anybody, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like talking about being envious, but you just have those people just like, yo, how do you do what you do? Well, listen, I had this friend I grew up with, went to school with. He was like, I truly felt like he had so much potential. Number one, he was a good looking dude. You know, just like one of those dudes. I'm like, you go to the gym, you just look at a gym and you get a six pack. You guys ever know like you know somebody like that? They could just look at the gym and they get in the shape like that. That was just him. He was always in shape, and he was intelligent, smartest, one of the smartest in his class. He just was phenomenal. And one day, I got a call that this individual um, passed away suddenly at 27 years old. 27 years old. He had some kind of medical condition and I think he had like maybe I don't remember, it was a heart attack or something because due to this medical condition. And it was horrible to see a friend, but and I don't mean this in a weird way, but you know what I hated to see because he left life at 27 years old was so much untapped potential. And I love this dude. He was an amazing friend, but I also I knew how much potential he had. There was many times when I'm like, bro, you're smart. You need to go do this. You need to go do like you got so much knowledge. You got so much skill. Maybe later. That's what he would tell me. Yeah, I would think about it. Hey, I think you should do this. Like this is a big opportunity for you. Maybe next time. He would come up with excuses of why he couldn't or shouldn't do something. He would push things off, and then guess what? One day it became too late. If I could go back and tell him one thing before he left this earth, it would be like, hey, bro, like quit playing around, go all in. Don't let that potential go to waste before it's too late. So I'm here today to tell you all, I truly feel like you all have amazing potential. I've talked to many of you all because you're my students. And I know what potential you have. I know the mission that God's put on your heart. I know the big visions that you have. Don't think you're guaranteed tomorrow because you're not. So what are we going to do going into January 1st to live in a way where our potential does not go expired, but that we use it to the max and that we leave nothing on the table? That's my call to action for you all today as we leave this workshop is something to consider on. Let 2026 be your maxed out year. All right. So thank you all for attending. Thank you, Josh. Everybody give it up for Josh one more time. He's phenomenal. I just love him. I've said that multiple times, and it's really cool when you align with somebody that well. You align with somebody you truly see that alignment in like real life. It just I want to let you know I cherish our friendship. But everybody, just thank you for being here. We're gonna make sure that you go into 2026. We have more trainings coming up in the future. One thing I will say is if you haven't joined our free school group, I would love for you to use that school group as your accountability. Use this school group for your accountability. I just dropped the link in the chat. If you haven't joined our marketing and AI community, it's a free group where we're going to be doing new trainings in 2026 on marketing, sales, AI, and more workshops like this. Go ahead and join that right now if you haven't yet. Use that as your community. Some of you all, you have a coach already, but you just don't have a community. Use that. Use that as your community, your accountability. Show up to the calls we're doing. Watch the podcast we're dropping. Show up to the trainings. All right. So thank you, Caroline says I just joined the school group. It's been amazing. Awesome. Cool. So I don't remember what I was saying, but thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. We'll be emailing out all the replays to everybody very soon. Go crush 2026. If you need anything, let us know. We're here to support you, here to help you. Thank you for taking 2 hours of your day with us. And listen, y'all, have a great, great day. We'll see you very soon. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. And do me one favor. When you go into that, Josh is actually in that school group as well. If you all want to go above and beyond, go tag us in the school group and let us know what your biggest takeaways was. If I could give you like an action item or a homework piece, maybe go in that school group and just say, hey, my biggest, takeaway from the Goal Crushers workshop was, and just let us know what that is. Again, that's not just to help me and Josh. Yeah, we'll enjoy reading the takeaways, but again, we're creating accountability. We're creating repetition. Repetition leads to mastery. By you restating that in that school group, it's only going to embed the information in your mind and your heart further. So go share its biggest takeaway if you want to go above and beyond. And you all, we would love, love to see those takeaways. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you guys have an amazing, amazing start to your year. Hope you enjoy some time with your family and friends tonight, celebrating all that you have accomplished in 2025. But we'll see you all very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.